Welcome to the Broskiedoodles podcast. My name is Kiko Flo. We have Steve Ski, as he's known in the Northeast, European Eastern countries, and also in the Mongolian region. But he goes as Stevie D in the Miami area. And we have my boy, guy who took Vin Diesel's spot in the hottest mofos in 2007. Now he's coming through in the Broskiedoodles podcast to show us a little bit of his intellect. It's my boy Fear, or I don't know what you prefer to go to, how you want to go about your name in the public sphere. But I do know that they know you as Fear in the streets.
Could go by Fear. My government name, Adrian.
Okay, government agent. Is that your slave name?
That is my slave name.
Okay. Is that like, was that given to you by the system?
From my patriarchal family.
Okay. All right. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to go by the cisgender name that was given to us, and I'm pushing for laws and policies to change those things. But
yeah, I'm disputing it now in court right now. I have a case pending.
A lot of litigation. Right, I hear there's a lot of triquiñuelas, or shenanigans, as you would say in Middle America, that goes around this type of procedures. And we also see this happen in the many conspiracy theories people talk about. And I know that you wanted to discuss some of these. Which conspiracy theories you think are most compelling, or one that really sticks to you? No, could be recent or could be something in the past.
Well, one I think that has a lot of weight to it is child trafficking that's going on. Everything that happened with Jeff Epstein and how he mysteriously died, and now how his ex-wife is in jail, locked up. I think there's something to it, especially with things keep popping up, like this whole Wayfair scandal.
Wayfair, is that the cabinet?
Not what you need. That's the home good furniture store. You can find everything you need on Wayfair.
Yeah, they have like the really expensive cabinets, right?
Yep.
I mean, they do
$10,000 for a cabinet.
Yeah.
Well, worth it. I mean, mine came with a kid in it. Oh shit!
That's part of the deal.
In one of those bags, those bags that you can like compress the air out of, and
like the mattress, like it comes in a mattress, like like expandable kit.
Yeah, expandable. You just put water, and motherfucker starts flapping his hands after a few hours.
Fucking Geopet and shit.
Yeah, you turn on the air conditioner and put a little water. I mean, on all fairness, I did hear that the cabinets are really good quality.
So the way I see it is Wayfair is the median for third-party sellers, because like in my experience, we got a pretty decent TV console from Wayfair, but then we got like a really shitty chair, and I know that that's not the same company that's creating them. So I think that's actually kind of lending to your what
up? You got some furniture from this store?
Yeah, they're an online store. I just moved to this apartment, so I had to furnish myself like a couple spots.
I mean, don't make it sound too casual. Like, yeah, what do you mean it's an online store? Yeah, I mean, yeah, the dark web is an online store. I mean, like.
Yeah, but they don't have that little like lock symbol where you can use your credit card and shit. You know what I mean?
Okay, the lock symbol that says "Do not disturb." Okay.
So
you said that you bought some stuff and you also bought a chair from them, but the quality wasn't there, or it just didn't come with a kid?
No, yeah, I was upset that it didn't come with a kid. No, so not
left a 1-star review.
Yeah, man. Oh man, the kid's useless. He's
didn't even come with a birth certificate.
Dude, for real.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Title not in hand, Anyways. But yeah, so I bought some stuff from Wayfair, but I guess the way that this whole conspiracy thing is working is I'm not even mad at Wayfair. If this is true, I'm not even mad at Wayfair. Let's talk about what the conspiracy is. People are saying that there are specific child's women names that are going missing, right? And they're showing up as the model or the collection of this storage cabinet. And sometimes even the storage cabinet in the picture is the same picture. You can see it like one of those like hardware storage like metal cabinets, but one's like 10,000, one's like 15,000, one's, and it's like got different names of these.
But the cabinet is the same picture?
Yeah, it's the same picture. And so what's happening is, what I think is happening, is that these third-party sellers, okay, like imagine like an Amazon, right? And they're even blaming Jeff Bezos. Don't get it twisted. This is extending as far as onto Amazon and as it is everywhere else. But what's happening is that they're using these online retailers as being able to wash their money, you know, as a means of communicating. So they're putting up this item, they're selling you the item. You either have to put in a promo code or something like that to be able to, this is an assumption, to receive that item, right? But you're paying Wayfair for the, you know, they're taking their cut, they're giving it to the third party seller, and they figure out a way to meet up with you. Or maybe you already know where it is, but you're just saying, hey, look, go, if you want this kid or this woman or this whatever, buy this, here's the link, buy this, you know.
Oh, what up? So you're saying that you do believe, so I don't get it. So you're saying like I have no problem with Wayfair if
I
they're
got no
like
problem because
trafficking people?
Yeah, because Wayfair isn't trafficking people. Wayfair is providing the service for these third party sellers.
It's all supply and demand.
It's
The
also,
DNA.
yeah, dude, I'm serious. Think about
I
it.
mean,
Right?
if you hire someone like to kill someone, right? Like, you know, I don't even blame the killer. Like, you know, it's a third party that's paying. Okay, so what you're saying is, what's it called? Wayfair?
Wayfair. Wayfair.
Okay, you're saying that they have never themselves touched a kid.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay,
I mean,
they're more in the business.
this is a
They're more
Steven
in the community.
opinion, but I don't think they have. It doesn't make any sense for them to.
Well, that's wild that they would just be that open about it.
Well, they aren't going to check. So Amazon, right? Think about it from a goods perspective. Amazon receives goods at a warehouse and then ships these goods. That's only if that seller decides to do FBA or fulfillment by Amazon. The seller has the opportunity to sell their own product direct from their warehouse and handle all the logistics on their end. The seller has to pay for that per item for Amazon or something. I don't know if it's per item, but regardless, they have to pay Amazon a service fee to handle the product, ship the product, and then all the customer service for that product. Right?
What up? So you can buy this Mayfair cabinet from Amazon.
No, Wayfair is the website. Wayfair is
okay, and they act like an Amazon where different third-party sellers can sell their $10,000 cabinet that included children. And what you're saying is Mayfair, they're just a technology company.
Way with a W.
Way, like this is the way.
Wayfair.
Wayfair.
Okay, and it's super fair.
And yeah, it's just fair trade. It's just way fair, dude. No.
Hey Epstein, you gotta come check this website out. It's way fair.
It's way
Unlike
fair.
that
The
other
prices
one.
are way fair for these kids.
Yeah, they're way fair. You know, they really know the customer. You know, they just have, you know, like Costco. You have the premium card.
And think about it, like when you are a person who is a pedophile or doing child trafficking, right? You have these like, how are you gonna wash that money? How are you going to get $15,000? I'm assuming that's the going rate because these are the images that we see online behind the conspiracy, right? So how are you gonna wash $15,000? And if you're doing this enough, that's really crazy, right? So what do? You sell luxury items. That's the only way to really wash the money. I mean, when you're an artist and you painted a painting that took you an hour to do, but you sell it for $15,000, that's an easy way to wash money, right? Now, I'm not saying any knock on the artist. I'm just trying to make a point that you have a storage cabinet that is objectively priced, okay, and no government entity is going to tell you can't sell a cabinet at whatever price you want to sell it at. But what is actually happening, in my opinion, is that these people have a network. Let's call it Epstein and, I don't know, whoever other built Prince Andrew. And they're like, all right, look, you wanna have this girl, right? This whatever. Okay, here's a link. Go buy it. Go buy from Wayfair this link. I'm gonna get that money clean, and I'm gonna finagle this to you somehow.
Finagle.
And then
Damn.
and then Wayfair gives the third party, the seller, the option of either fulfillment by Wayfair or fulfillment by your own, like or you handle it. I'm just the website that you post your shit on. You see?
I feel you. I
So
mean,
they must know what's going on then.
Well, but it is Wayfair.
It is but does Wayfair know what you're selling if they never touch the product?
Right.
I mean, they're putting it on the website though, and they have to hold some sort of accountability for what's being posted. So I'm sure they have to do their background research and saying, okay, the same questions that people are asking: why the hell is a computer desk $10,000? They have to know what's going on.
Like if it says made in China, like is this kid really being sent from China? You might want to have some documentation that proves it.
Yeah, I mean that's a valid point. This is why it's a theory, right? So I think that's the baseline foundation for everything. But let's talk about
super crazy.
Let's talk about like the nitty gritty, right? Should a company like Wayfair be checking the custom seals or the custom packages? Is everything made in the USA? Like, what do you think? How do you think this is getting the intricacies of it?
Yeah, I'm not sure what quality assurance they have on all their products, but everything on Wayfair is pretty expensive as it is. And I bought some furniture from there a couple of weeks ago too, and the quality was all right.
You motherfucker.
Huh? We're contributing to Wayfair.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You actually. So this is like an actual. It's a famous, like it's known, it's common. It's like IKEA for.
Yeah, man, it's huge. They got fucking commercials all over the place.
Okay, but it's a new because I never heard of this before.
Wayfair's I've heard about them since I got out of college. That was 2015, I think. Now I don't know if they were before or not, but I remember because I used to work for a company that did events, and we would have to buy stuff sometimes from Wayfair.
I went to school for like 8 years.
No, I did go to school for 8 years.
He became a doctor, by the way, guys. So don't think.
No, I didn't. No.
Don't think it was like some, business administration.
It was hospitality, management, and tourism. I drank way too much beer and learned too much about wine.
I mean, I didn't. I don't want to kick somebody when they're down, but.
And then here I am drinking the finest.
The finest, dude. One thing that you brought up. I mean, if we take away what the conspiracy is about and the victims that can be affected by this, it's actually a genius business format because you're doing your crime, like selling your product, your illegal product, and you're also laundering the money
as you're
at
doing
the same time.
That's the only way it made sense to me when I saw it. And I mean, this is not, like I said, I didn't see anybody claim this is actually how it's happening because Wayfair's still in business, right? They're not, they're under investigation, I'm sure, but how else are they going to do it,
Dude, their stock hasn't even dropped.
I know.
I went online to see, damn, this company must be hurting from a PR perspective. No, it's actually gone a few cents up.
Yeah.
Like what? These guys also provide child services. I mean, they're diversifying their stock. I mean, this is good buying options, guys. Get on this.
You can buy a kid here.
Diversify your portfolio. I mean, no, but think about it this way, bro. Like, who the fuck, dude? This is a crazy topic, and I know like we got into it because it has to do with like pedophilia and shit. But on another, like, I didn't even think of this, Steven. You really brought up a good point. Like anyone that has like an illegal business can, like, dude, imagine you sell drugs, right? And you need to get a payment done by someone in the US so that you can bring the drugs into the US. Normally, you will need to find a way to also return the money back to your country, right? Like, and usually that's the hardest part, because the money is a lot more bulky than the product. You know what I mean? Like the cocaine, right? And a few bricks, that translated into money, even in the highest bills, the $100 bills, is still a lot more bulk. So the main challenge for drug dealers, or kingpins, whatever, is not even getting the drugs to the U.S. It's getting the money back. That's the hardest part. And also that's the risk, right? Like that's actually your profit. So imagine you have someone that buys drugs from you in the US, and then instead of him giving you this cash money and you just tell him, go to this website and buy this cabinet, or buy the whole house furniture, right? And spend $50,000.
Yeah.
I get that on my account. On the website, it indicates that we're gonna process that, not the website. Like, don't worry, we'll fulfill this. And then who the fuck is gonna check that this guy got a bunch of cabinets to his house?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you can even do an invoice and everything, and just not. Or you know what? Deliver this shit. Get some fucking company in China to make you some cheap ass fucking piece of shit cabinets, and you do deliver it.
Mhm.
You even have like bro, this is crazy. But there's gotta be some shit that there's gotta be something that the U.S. could do, because otherwise they would have done this in the past. The U.S. isn't stupid about taxes. That fucking Uncle Sam will fucking search you.
Yeah. Adrian, what do you think? I mean, you're
I'm thinking, I don't know how much the FBI or the IRS goes into each individual business transaction. If
Mhm.
they were to go and see, okay, they bought these products from China at this rate, but they're receiving this amount of profit, and then that sets up some red flags that they have there. I don't know if that goes into the picture. I don't know all the intricacies that go behind it. I don't know if the FBI or the IRS or whoever looks at these companies, or if they're looking at companies at all times just to make sure that everyone's kind of playing, um, you know, by the rules.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
that makes sense, because you do have to tell. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a minute, I thought we were getting into like some really deep shit, and now I'm like, are we just like developing some like normal ass shit that the government's already having? Like, like it seems like maybe it might be correct that the government would check. Okay, how much you purchase this for? $100? How much you selling it for? $10,000? Yeah, there's something fucking wrong here.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, but on to what scale, right? So I agree with you. Well, that makes total sense. But how much are they really into each individual product? And is that a homemade? Are you buying it from a supplier? Are you making it yourself? Are you an artist who's making a limited one or two piece kind of thing, or are you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there are companies that make a living out of making shell companies on top of shell companies, and it's not about stopping them at first. It's about getting enough on them to stop them, and then they switch over and make another company. So it's like I don't know if this is the case. I'm not debunking what you're saying. I do actually believe that the government is doing what they can, at least whatever within their means. But I think that there is a task force in place to try and stop this. But there's so much proof of child trafficking, and it's such a big problem
Okay,
that
what
it's
you
like,
mean in this website? There's a lot of proof.
no, there's a lot of proof of child trafficking
In
in
general.
general. In general,
Oh, okay.
like, I mean, in Clearwater or Tampa, it's like one of the biggest hubs for trafficking children. I don't know why.
Are you fucking serious?
I swear to God, I lived there and I found this out, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, why
Is
is
that
St.
is that is
Petersburg?
that connected to that being the central hub for Scientology? And I'm not talking shit about Scientology, Ron.
Could be onto something there.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of celebrities, right, in Scientology. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But this is all why we we bring the podcast to the listeners.
Damn. Yeah. I mean,
So,
here on a little parentheses, just because I just thought I remember this, I don't want to leave it on conspiracy theories. There is, after we did the the Scientology episode,
mhm.
I had some of our subscribers gave us a bit of feedback, and they actually confirmed. Well, they confirmed to us I haven't really checked this, but apparently after South Park did their episode on Scientology, where they pretty much in 20 minutes explain what Scientology is about, and leave it like as a fucking
They're dum 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 dum
yeah,
dum.
yeah, yeah. Chef, remember the black character Chef?
Yeah.
Apparently, the voice of that guy is in Scientology, and after that episode, they told him to drop the show, and he left. So we gotta confirm that. But a subscriber of ours told us that, and I have yet to learn what's the quality of our subscriber. But
I give him an A plus. I give him an A plus for trying for saying.
but for now, fuck it.
Absolutely.
Here we're all about saying facts without really checking them, and then kind of letting them grow into their own. But yeah. So this Mayfair thing, getting back to like
with
the
a W, with a W.
Wayfair. Getting back to the actual, the Mayfair sounds more like a
That's where
like a
the
fair.
no, that's the Mayfair. Isn't that like where the British Tea Party happened on the Mayfair?
Oh yeah, that's like the boat that came from. Yeah, I read some shit about that in history class. Yeah, the Mayfair, and then the Tea Party. You always think about the Tea Party like they were having a party with tea and shit, and then you always hear like Republicans are part of the Tea Party, but then it had to do with like a tax on tea, and then it just gets really weird. But so this
criminal
Mayfair,
acts. They were dumping a lot of shit.
yeah, I mean,
Cocaine.
we should go back to those places, those times. There were simpler times. You can just chop someone's head off with a bayonet, and
That was like OG rioting right there. It's like OG rioting.
what the
Like dumping the bales of tea and shit into the ocean. Like
yeah, like I think it's just like the context.
That's like the equivalent of setting the Wendy's on fire, right? I think something like
that. Yeah, the tea. And you gotta, because this is the thing. You like the tea. Why the fuck the tea? Who the fuck cares about the tea? Bro, when you start meeting the British people, you're like, oh, the fucking tea. They're fucking all about their tea.
Yeah, bro.
Like you would think like, where the fuck they started a war over tea? Like, I mean, I understand like the whiskey tax war. Like, I get you, but the fucking tea,
Yeah, man.
So okay, but the Mayfair, which is kind of like the Wayfair but for pedos, is this like, and ironically speaking, we are spilling the tea, with this thing, going back to the actual children and the victims, because we're talking about the economics part and how we can profit from this, and it just isn't right. When we actually talk about the victims here, I heard that the missing children, they were putting the names on the cabinet, sort of to say that, okay, you click on this and that's the kid you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
If you were and I know you guys are not. I mean, I don't know this like for facts, but I trust that you guys aren't involved in this type of things. But if you were, would you really like, you put the name out? Like, wouldn't you make it like a code? Like, hey, look for cabinet 353,
Well,
we all know that's Anita.
They had an SKU number next to the name, and then if you go like on a Russian website or search engine, you copy and paste or type in the SKU number, and then you get images of the person that you're gonna get.
Oh my god!
But wouldn't you think that's like too
out there?
Like, yeah,
seems
Like just click on this link, you'll see the picture. Like, wouldn't you think those type of businesses will be more like closed loop?
Mm-hmm. Bro, I mean, when you're a criminal, sometimes to a point you get a little cocky, man. I mean, every kingpin, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm just it just follows a pattern.
It's a power move, maybe.
It's a power move, yeah. I mean, and at the top, when you start to look at who are the pedos, like they're the untouchables, right?
Maybe it's all a diversion. They want everyone looking at Wayfair while they're doing some other shit somewhere else.
Right?
That's worse.
Yeah.
What's worse than that?
Oil, power.
Or no, or the real way that they're trafficking kids.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Damn, through Amazon.
Fuck. Sorry for the kids that are being trafficked.
Whenever you search for like the plus products in Amazon that nobody buys, you're like, who the fuck buys this shit for 30 cents? Free shipping? How they're making money on this? Yeah, Anita from Guatemala.
Dude, it's a slippery slope, right? I mean, it's some crazy times that we're living in. I wonder.
Remind me to put a disclaimer of jokes at the beginning of our episodes. I think things are getting wild.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, like, because I've seen this shit before. Like, I've heard of theories where, like, you go to a website and then you see that, and I'm just like, really? That's how this shit works? Like we have a website with a listing, like if it was fucking Airbnb. Like, I just think to myself, like, is that how that shit goes down? And the other thing is, and I guess it's also why I hear these topics and it's so unreal to me. Like, it doesn't even sound real because we don't understand what it is that these motherfuckers are into. Like, being into kids is so like, it's so fucking, it's not understandable. It's, it's so out there, like, that for us it's like, when I hear this conspiracy theories, I'm like, is this a real, like, for real, this speed, like, but it seems like it is the case, right? Like, there's a fucking bunch of sick motherfuckers that have power, and they create these little systems where they can, like, this whole thing is tied up to, like, Justin Bieber, and he put out that song Yummy, and in the song it's all about them being a plate of food for all these older.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys heard of that?
it gets very weird. Not that specifically, but I hear a lot of celebrities are tied into that where they sacrifice children and drink their blood because apparently it keeps
Fuck.
them young. And there's like
That's a
there's a-
thing. Yeah.
yeah, there's a symbol to it and everything. It's like a little red, like I don't
Like
know, just
some
like
kind of like a goat or something. Have you seen the
yeah,
goat shit?
like it's a little figure that they have, and they'll have it like on their shirt or like in the background when they're doing an interview or something. That you'll see it in framed.
Like, you've seen, like, conspiracy videos about this, and they show different examples.
Yeah, exactly. Or you see like the
I
movie
heard.
with Tom Hanks or the Wilson, the blood on the volleyball. They use
Damn,
that
it
as an
goes way
example.
back. We'll way back then. That's like '98.
They think Tom Hanks is in it, Ellen DeGeneres, and she farms those kids by having them over on her show.
She farms the kids.
Well, that's my theory. If she is involved in it, she's getting all this talent to come on. She's having all those little kids come to her show.
Yeah.
Oh, she does have a bunch of kids come to her show,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like artists or like.
just talents, little kids that are little prodigies and whatever, or they made a
Yeah.
funny joke, went viral. She invites them on.
I recently heard that she's a fucking bitch to her staff. I love it when, like, people that are super, like, PC, right? Like, come out, like, on some, like, news, and everybody's just like, oh no, all that being kind shit is only on cameras. Whenever, like, she treats us like shit, like the staff was saying all this shit, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't wish anything bad on anyone, but it kind of makes you feel like, oh, so all this virtue signaling, right? And you're the fucking piece of shit. Like, it sort of feels like the people that always praise this bullshit are the ones that are, like, rotten inside and have no soul.
I mean, yeah. I think
So,
I think it's pretty crazy that this has been going on for so long, and you got to think too. Like, Avicii did another song too. When you look at the video, there's a music video where he actually comes back and uh he comes back.
comes back from the death.
No. It was before. It was like a year before he actually killed himself because he was trying to expose the thing, the whole like child trafficking thing. Really screwed up, man. Really screwed up. But yeah. So sucks.
All right. Well, let's press on that record button. And Adrian, what do you have any other conspiracies that you're about?
that I'm about.
That you're a part of.
That you've taken, like, participation in?
Just things that I've been listening to lately. Oh, that the whole coronavirus is just a Democratic hoax.
True.
That it's fact check.
Fact check. The fucking commies.
Yeah, that it's all bullshit. It's all a way to control us.
Yeah, man.
It's seeing how we would react under pressure, and that how we would all just have to listen to the government.
But the government that's going down, or the government that's proposing this kind of like order, is not Trump. I mean, can we agree on that? Is it Trump that's trying to control the masses? Because he can give a fuck if you wear your mask or not. He wants you out there.
He just wants jobs.
He just wants jobs, right? Okay. So we're all Republican.
He wants to make America great again.
No,
They're not letting him. They're not letting him spread his wings.
Yeah.
That moment when you, at that moment when you realize none of us are communists. Oh, okay, so you. Okay.
Oh, so we're-
No, I get it, like you wouldn't vote for him any time else, but like yeah. Okay.
But right now you would, right? Okay.
Like you, because of the things like he's not like good at, like to present himself as a person, like but
It's
like
true
in the
though.
scheme of things.
I mean, he's hard to defend. He's
Yeah.
He makes
He's
it
really-
so.
It makes it really hard to defend him. But I mean, I don't even get into that anymore with people. I used to get into fights with Nat, my fiance, about it, and because she's like, "But how could you? He's such an idiot. He's wanting us to go out there and fucking die." I'm like, well, I wouldn't
The
say
thing
that.
is, if you're a girl, if you're a woman specifically, it's sort of like, but he's a fucking dick. It's like, yeah, but he doesn't have to be our friend type shit. Like, but women see it differently, right? They're like, but have you seen how he talks to women? Like, babe, I know. Like, believe me, I don't chill with this guy anymore. Like, I've introduced him to a few good people. I try to get him going in life. I don't really chill with this guy no more. But I mean, maybe.
Oh man, yeah. He's doing his thing, man. He's got to do what he's got to do.
Dude, but coming from somebody from like Europe, right? Where like I live in Madrid, Spain, and this was the epicenter in Europe like a few months back. And dude, like if people have heard our podcast and heard comments, if you don't know, I'm sort of a libertarian. I'm sort of a free market type of guy. I'm not really for socialism, except for a few social plans, and I'm always elaborating my ideas on this. Now, that being said, I do not understand how wearing masks is like a political move. Like, I just find that to be so retarded, and I'm really trying to understand people because I'm always trying to see the other side, but I just don't see I don't understand it really. Like, I know in the US some people are like, oh, I don't wear masks because it's my freedom and all this shit, and it's like, dude, this shit is going on in the whole world. Is this a perfect situation for governments to control us? It is. But until we know what the fuck is going on, just fucking wear it.
Yeah. Not a
Yeah,
big
give
deal.
it the benefit of the doubt that you might die if you get this. So rather be safe than sorry. I don't know how it became political. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know if actually the politicians were the ones who made it political or if it was the media.
That's a good point. I think the people who made it political. I think the reason why Trump is not wearing his mask, or he claims not to be wearing. The media portrays him that way, is because I think if he gives in, he ends it. It's more of a territorial thing, or like a political move. Like, okay, yeah, you're right, and I'm not fit. And then his ego takes in, and that's even more worse, right? So it's like, I think he should be wearing his mask, and we shouldn't be like debating that, And I think if he was humble from the get go, that we wouldn't be in a situation like this. However, I think that the media knows this, and they push him to be, like the
worst version of himself.
Yeah, the worst version of himself, and then they leverage that against him. Like, I mean, they've done that time and time again.
Why is it that every time you want to say something good about Trump, you always start off like, I know he's a piece of shit, right? But it's just this guy, man. He couldn't make it any harder, Like, you come from like Obama, who was like one of the best speakers, right? I don't think he did anything for the country. He ended up doing I'm not gonna get into that, but the way he spoke, it's like it was just so nice, so soothing. But I mean, this is the thing though, and I talked to Steven about this. Do you want someone that sounds super nice, but you don't know what's really going on in the back? or do you want a temperamental person like
Who
Trump?
who's up front with
Who,
everything?
yeah, like he doesn't hide because he cannot hide who the fuck he is because he's just he explodes like you know.
Yeah.
I grab him by the pussy. Fucking do it again.
You know.
I prefer the gentleman who grabs the woman by the pussy.
Yeah. The thing is, man, is you
Or
know when you
both?
talk about
Combine both?
about the bad people. Sorry, my
Yeah.
bad. Go.
There is.
Or you combine both. You have someone who can speak like Obama, but who's also very straightforward that you can trust.
Yeah.
But then we will have like a good country and a good system, Adrian, and that just wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, we wouldn't have podcast material.
Yeah. Yeah, if we had all our necessities met and our politicians spoke right from the heart, you know, I wouldn't have to go to my dealer. You know how many dealers will run out of jobs?
Uh,
What do you guys think about this conspiracy theory that they say that Steven, you knew this candidate, this presidential candidate, Andrew Yang?
yeah, he's like an Asian. Well, not
Yang Gang. I mean, I
Yang.
wouldn't say like that, you know, doesn't sound, you know, like
Oriental by nature.
yeah. Oriental American, and you know, like just choose your adjectives. It's just we're trying to keep a clean image here for sponsors, but they say that this guy, fuck, remind me what I was just saying.
Well, you were saying that we were talking about presidential candidates that spoke from the heart, and then you brought.
Oh yeah, Andrew Yang. Yeah, I'm totally fine, guys. I don't have any sort of chemical imbalances that I've been informed about. But this guy was saying, like he ran on the campaign that he wanted to have universal basic income, right?
Right.
Where everybody got a check a month. And the reason why he said that is because he thinks that when more jobs are taken by technology, that's gonna cause people to be out of jobs, right? And that we actually need to slow that down and find a way to pay people once those jobs. And this conspiracy has been going on for hundreds of years, where whenever something is created or is in the cusp of being sort of commercialized, so that it could make automatic a certain job, then people are always like, "Oh, this is going to leave people out of jobs." And on an economic sense, if you have something that's automatic and that person does not need to do that physical activity anymore, then you can invest that labor in something that is more efficient because you already have a machine doing that. And this happened like when farming equipment started being created in the early 1900s and even before that, right? Like, and people were like, "Oh, what are we gonna do with all the farmers?" Well, the farmers found something else to fucking do. They learned how to work the machines and shit. And didn't that make a better society where now those farmers learn other skills that were more profitable and that had more, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you know,
Well,
like people
what's the
say,
conspiracy? I mean, what's the?
well, the conspiracy is that every time some new shit comes out, that's gonna take jobs away, and
Well, it will.
obviously, I mean, it directly, like, instantly, yes, but that event, like those people are never gonna like be able to work again. Like, I think people need to also adapt with times, and you know, like we don't need to keep truck drivers relevant and slow down the technology of self-driving vehicles just for the sake of keeping a job. I mean, for that, grab some people to fucking make a hole in the ground and then fill it back up, you know, and pay them.
I think that the argument of job automation versus what happens to the current jobs and debating it or making a big fuss about it to a certain degree it makes me feel like they're putting the cart in front of the horse, right? Like I think that they're like with stress, with natural stress, things happen. So my take on it is, why don't you just let that part happen, and then when people start to really get squeezed, a new thing evolves out of that. You get what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
like getting mad about something that hasn't happened yet. Like I'm guilty for it. Like she's known for being late, right? And I'm like, why you're gonna be late again? Like we're not even home yet to the point where she can start being ready to get to be late. But I'm assuming in my head that she's gonna be late, and I've had to learn to just relax and let it happen. And I
Right.
think that's a natural. I mean that's universal. When you put that out there, like I feel like okay, when jobs start to actually like suck, then we'll deal with your issue. It's kind of like people say like right now, like the argument for Black Lives Matter, right? And this is not to get into that, but the Black Lives Matter movement is like,
Fuck, we're
oh,
losing all our fucking advertisers.
All in
no,
one
for real.
episode.
Yeah, and I got a problem with that too because
And
like
Adrian being fired from his job.
the moment you like say anything against, it's like you're not even allowed, like you're chastised. You're not even
Shut
allowed
the
to
fuck up.
express your emotions or your
Mhm.
opinions, right? But whatever, not the point. The point is Black Lives Matter, right? And then people
Mhm.
start to say, well, all lives matter. Well, yeah, but like if my house is on fire and your house is not on fire, your house matters, but your house isn't the one that's on fire, right? So here they are with their with the issue of like, like, oh well, we got to make automation to speed up the process of technology because that's going to make our livelihood better in the future, and that's what matters at the moment. I mean, in that regard, I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter anymore. In that regard, oh, but
I'm not sure how that metaphor.
well, I'm saying that this is if technology is ramping up and we're
Was
getting
this
to
just a
here,
political plug?
no, I'm just trying to
Leading up into next
make
episode.
the parallel. I guess what I'm saying is like let that happen,
All
and
jobs matter.
and then your jobs will matter, and then not
Yeah. No,
now,
but I think
because
it's
right
true.
now you
Like,
have a job.
let them get fired. Then we have the new technology,
Yeah.
and then if whoever just cannot find a new job, and then we'll see how we help them.
I mean, yeah,
But
help is always there in the U.S., right? I mean, my thing is like there's too much help in the U.S. So if you're gonna keep
damn.
if you're gonna keep that thought out there, if you're gonna keep on giving people money, well then stop bitching, lose your job when you lose your job, and then learn to find another one. In the meantime, I'm not driving my car anymore, bitch.
Yeah, we're really gonna depend on your donations, as we're really not gonna be sponsored. So yeah, check out our Patreon. And I'm kidding. We don't have a Patreon. We do this for the love of art. Until I get my eviction notice. But look, what I'm trying to say here is, okay. So, do you think, in general, Adrian, do you think that technology taking jobs away? I don't think the jobs are being taken away. I think the productivity is still there. But in your opinion, like McDonald's, right? We're gonna put a fucking bunch of iPads and fuck cash registers, right? You see this happening everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's a little pad, and it's actually even easier for me because I don't have to tell this guy some shit that he doesn't know either, right? We always order Wendy's at 2 a.m. This motherfucker, doesn't know how to spell. It's confusing. I think a pad is even easier for me. Do you think that technology that puts away some jobs in the long run makes it worse or better for society?
Well, yeah, in the long run, you're going to advance society by advancing technology. I think the issue and the complication with comparing McDonald's with truck drivers is the age. Um, Someone who works at McDonald's typically is
very very good
young.
point.
Is young, an 18-year-old, like they can go off and do something else, and they haven't spent their whole life being a truck driver. Once you're 40, 45, 50, you've been driving a truck for 20 years, 30 years. The argument is, what do they do then? Because they're not going back to school to
They
retrain.
learn TikTok.
They learn TikTok. It's hard, and it's just a weird thing for him to base his campaign around. Like his whole thing was how he spoke to truck drivers all over the nation.
Yeah, as if those motherfuckers were the only people. No, but that's an interesting point that you bring, because sometimes I get a bit too cavalier about the things I say, right? And believe me, I want people to live better, but I also want people to try just a little bit. So I guess it is true that it's not the same if you're a 15-year-old kid and they tell you, look, Jimmy, I like the work you're bringing.
You see that iPad over there?
You put,
We'll name it
I
Jenny
like
after you.
Mhm.
So we need you to plug that in and then return your uniform. Uh, so, so I get it. Like for him, it's not the same effect as you know. Uh, what do you think is a truck driver's name?
John Doe. I don't know, man.
John Doe, right? On a highliner coming through the US 27. I feel him right 50, 55.
With the king
Probably
size cup.
has diabetes. Uh, 3 kids. How do you adapt that person to something else, right? Obviously, he's not gonna learn to code, but
Right.
do you think there could be programs that help these people adapt to something else? Because if you're a truck driver, you could probably do things that are like related to mechanics,
Create
maybe
maps.
create maps.
No, I'm just talking shit. I don't know what they could do.
Okay. Uh, yeah, like
They can't. What do you mean be a mechanic? I mean that's a whole nother line of a
yeah, and I don't know why. I mean, I just thought maybe the truck drivers they know a little bit.
I'm the one with my car. I know.
I'm a transformer. I don't know. They probably know how to change spark plugs and shit. I'm just saying they could probably get a little,
Try and work
oil
at
change.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then the iPads come in. Fuck, another one. Everywhere they go, they just keep getting replaced.
Bad like Brian and shit.
Yeah, right. Oh, fuck, they have to be a truck driver.
Fuck. Guy starts working at Top Golf. They put a fucking iPad too. He's like, what the fuck? Yo, I saw this older guy in Top Golf, and he was like, dude, he was like a dad, like a father, like a 60-year-old father. And he was one of the, like the hosts that kind of like set you up before you start playing. I don't really know what they're called. They kind of like groom you before you know you get your credit card number.
Before they tell you on Wayfair.
Yeah, before they sell your credit card in Wayfair, and there was this older guy that was doing that job. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like somebody at that age doing that job, and this guy was actually like showing people like, oh, this is how you hit it, and like he was like really giving it all. And I remember thinking, damn, this motherfucker's trying so hard not to get replaced.
Son of a bitch.
I'm like, damn, bro, this guy is even giving the free lessons, bro. Just don't go with the strength, go with the swing, go with this. This guy he really knew about his shit.
Yeah, he's sitting down talking to every family about his glory days, playing golf.
I'm just saying, you could be like John Doe and cry over this, or you could be like Guillermo Gutierrez and fucking get on it. You feel me? Do a little YouTube videos, swinging. You know what I mean? You start at Top Golf, you end up, the top 1%.
I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, like these platforms, I know that technology requires some sort of like learning, but to be like in a space where it's profitable, it doesn't require you to be the best. I mean, literally, people are getting clout or getting free publicity for themselves, like by just doing a little something on the phone. You know what I mean? And I know it's hard to say that's everybody's gig, but there's so much you could do. Like you can, when all the virus stuff is over, they can go and work in some form of the restaurants. They can do something, and on top of that, there's probably going to be some kickback to companies that employ elderly, the same way that some companies employ special needs. There'll be
from the government.
Yeah, or like a tax write-off or something. There's going to be some sort of incentives, and there's going to be programs.
Well, we don't know, but you're saying that there should be.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't exist yet, but like, why wouldn't it, right? I mean,
I don't know if
when there's people who are coming out of jail that are getting assistance to do what, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, yes. If you compare it to that, I don't want to be a dick, but I think economically speaking, you shouldn't subsidize anybody's work. But I guess I would need to look at this type of cases in more depth to see how we can help them efficiently without spending money. But I get you. If like somebody coming out of jail is being helped, then these people should be helped, especially if they're really trying to work. I mean, if you're like Guillermo Gutierrez in Top Golf, I mean, this guy deserves the help. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like this guy was doing the swings. He brought they had this little croqueta. They were fucking fire. He just was on it. He's like, no, they're made with like this special ham. Comes from Asturias, a special region in Spain. I knew about it, but he actually, I wanted to let him like speak on it and see, where he went. And this guy was killing it. I'm just saying, like, you could tell this guy was like, I ain't getting replaced again. You know what I mean? Like, you could just
The buck stops here.
like, and I want to see the type of enthusiasm on people.
Yeah, and that's fair. It's fair trade and fair work, I feel, in my opinion.
Fuck, man. I think it's definitely honest work, but I guess more than a conspiracy theory, that's more like a good economic exercise. But people do think that a lot of people do think that technology is gonna take jobs away. And obviously it will on the premise, like directly. Yeah, people are affected because those jobs are not being done by machines. But on the long run, that helps, Steve Jobs and all the shareholders. So I'm just saying, we gotta keep pushing this. And
Do you think that actually would have happened if he would have stayed as a nominee and even won the election? Like, do you think Congress would allow that to happen? Like, look how hard it is to get money, considering everything that's happening now.
what do you mean? Who?
If Andrew Yang would have actually won the presidency, do you think
If what?
Congress and would have allowed UBI to happen? Or because I think he was just doing it for attention, a way to get his name out, separate himself from the crowd, being as left as possible.
So UBI, Universal Basic Income, you get $1,000 a month, and apparently he says we can afford it. I did the math on this, and we spend $4.1 trillion. Well, I mean, I don't spend that, but the U.S. government, I used to work in the Pentagon, so sometimes I still feel.
Okay.
But the U.S. spends $4.1 trillion a year in government spending. This is everything, including welfare, which is about 70% of that chunk. That's 4.1 trillion, and giving every U.S. citizen $1,000. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 3.7 trillion a year. So it's actually about $500 billion cheaper to give everyone $1,000 and nothing else than keeping what we have now in welfare, right? So you would think like, but why? So you're saying that you give people all this money and it comes out cheaper? Why is that? Well, because it's a direct it's a direct contribution that you're giving the people. There's no bureaucracy, there's no administration, there's no one to check like, okay, do you really have this disability, or do you really have this unemployment? You don't have people that need to police it, that need to approve it. All that costs money. So like the government spending, at least 50% is gone on just the costs of operation. So the thing is, Andrew Yang says he wants to give everybody $1,000 and keep most of the welfare shit that's already going. So now I don't think universal income is a thing. But if you're gonna do it, the only way that I can see it working is if you eliminate all welfare and you give everybody $1,000. That way, the person that was on welfare because they had a disability, well, now you use this money to cover that. The person that was getting some money to buy food for their kids, well, now you have $1,000. You do that with that. And then the person that wasn't getting any help is like, well, I'll save this shit and then I'll see what I can invest it on. On one side, it's more fair. On another side, it's a lot easier to do than have these systems that we have now. And third, it's cheaper. So that's the only way that it would make sense to me. That being said, let's say that we do what Andrew Yang wants to do. We keep the welfare and we add $1,000 to every citizen. And let's say that we can magically pay for that. What happens then with new people that come to the US? Because that's the problem. Like you need to close it. Like, okay, everybody that's in here, all right, let's do it. Because otherwise, what do you think people are gonna do when they hear that there's a country over there in North America that if you get there, the government gives you $1,000 every month?
Cross the
You have to
border.
yeah, I mean, like, what do you do then? Do you close it to anybody coming in, and then the people that come in and you don't give it to them, are you a piece of shit because of that and racist? And like that's I just see so many technicalities that could go wrong with that topic that it's just I don't think it would make sense.
I don't know. That's a good point.
What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, you can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways because of the simple fact that you can't trust people. Because some people are going to be smart, they're going to invest it, they're going to save it, and other people are just going to spend it as soon as they get it. And then what happens when they get older and they don't have any money saved up, and then or they get injured, or they get a disease, they get cancer, and they need to be spending money, they don't have anything left, then they're going to ask the government for more support. So then,
yeah, it's a never ending cycle,
yeah.
And if you take away the entitlement programs, I mean, what when it comes to like people who does it raise or lower the cost of living? Does it give employers the leeway to change value of work, or does that not change under the
What do you
UBI
mean?
theory?
I mean, if you ask me, I would eliminate the minimum wage law, but that's
But like what I'm saying is like the value of a job, whatever that may be, aside from minimum wage. Like if the cost of living is this in Miami versus this in New York or wherever.
Oh, what you're saying
Right.
is, will we adapt it? Well, that's not the problem. That's any. I don't know if this is what you're talking about. Let me know if I'm correct. But you're saying like those $1,000 are not gonna, go the same way in LA than in Ohio.
And that's another option. That's another part of it. But I guess what I'm saying is that like if you get that $1,000 a month, that's 12,000 a year. Does that give an employer a $10,000 swing to pay you less because you already have it?
No. So this is if somebody hires you, they pay you separately. It has nothing to do.
Yeah,
No,
but
I know,
as
but-
an employer, you're going to take that into consideration. As an employer, I'm like, all right, I know your cost of living in this city, and I know that the government's giving you $1,000 extra a month. So I know based on this that I can reduce your salary by 10,000, and you're not going to complain. Well, you are going to complain, but I could just find somebody else.
Correct.
Well, but if you could, then the market will set that price, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the government is a good person to like tell you what price you should cost. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be affected by that. I think if everybody makes $1,000, that would be good enough for them to cover whatever extra bullshit they have going on, and then they still need to get a job and work. You know what I mean? And do their own. But this whole thing is just a mess because even if you were gonna do it like what that topic, okay, that's correct. Like, is this something employers are gonna take into account before they give you your check? But also, like, it's not the same across the U.S. the cost of living, so that makes it also weird, But one thing that you do gain from this is there's a lot of people that are on unemployment that don't actively try to get a job to stay on unemployment. Because, for example, if unemployment gives you $1,500 and then working gives you $2,000, then you're like, fuck it. I just won't do shit. But because they know that if they get a job, then they don't get the government help and they now have to work. But if they know they can get a job and they still get $1,000, then it doesn't deter you from wanting to get a job because you're just gonna add to the $1,000 you're already getting. So I just think that's the only way that it would make sense to do that. but in general, I don't think an universal basic income is a good idea. However,
No
it
more
might be
unemployment at all.
correct.
Okay.
Like I think that the only way I could really go by this is if this replaced everything, every help,
Yeah. People
because
don't
otherwise,
understand that.
yeah, it's a big change, and I don't think you can really change welfare system in any country that's already been. You cannot dial it back. You know, it's really hard to dial it back. So I don't think that's an option. Camera.
You guys think the country will end up splitting up? Because it's such like a partisan thing. Like there's a lot of people to the left, a lot of people to the right, and it seems like there's not much of a middle ground. Do you feel like maybe at the state
Yeah.
level they'll start breaking off? Maybe like California, as an example, would just be Democrat. Texas
Well, I
being
believe
Republican.
Texas is one of the only state. I learned this recently. They have a clause, like when they became part of the U.S., they left like a clause in their contract or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but it pretty much said like Texas is still a republic. It's the Republic of Texas, and if at any point they don't really like what's going on, they can do like a little referendum and vote to become a country again.
Wow.
And so
Good old.
I mean, you do see like a lot of split and differences between the states, and you see the extremes go harder and harder. You know, like I started following some conservative page on Facebook, and then I had to unfollow it just because he was super aggressive. Like I was just like, damn,
CC
shit.
Drano.
I don't know. No, it wasn't that one, but it was like some like like we love Trump and like forever like I tatted Trump on my chest and like and you just like wow, like you start seeing people like when I see like left people in the left that are like delusional. I'm like, oh, these are the ones on the other end that don't even like make sense of things. They just you know
Yeah.
I don't want a mask because freedom and shit. It's like okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you have the freedom, and you should use that freedom to wear the fucking mask so that you don't die and you keep having this freedom.
Or just wear it so that you can have your freedom back sooner than later. You know, if
That's true.
if you just think about it like as like you were saying, I don't know if it was last podcast or if it was offline, but if we could just approach problems as a community, if we can say, okay, look, what's it going to take? If somebody could just everybody stop talking, and say, what is it going to take for this to finish as quickly as possible? For sure, this and this are going to slow it down. I don't know what to what speed, but it'll cut it by the difference between us being able to be phase 2, phase 3 in 6 months rather than phase 2, phase 3 in 2 years, right? Or until there's a vaccine. And then you say, okay, well, you know what? Then I'm going to put into, like I don't need to make a law. We should all just wear our masks when we go out,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, in Spain, we've behaved good, you know, and dude, Barcelona might go back to lockdown, and
Is that
we're
because of tourists?
I think so, bro, because they have a lot more tourism, and they've opened the borders here. So I don't know, people are kind of like I don't know. I guess people want to go out, but also like I don't know, just chill for a minute,
Yeah,
like
stay in your country at least. The bare
yeah,
Yeah.
minimum.
take the year off, and read a book or something.
Yeah, fucking attend to your garden. Do something.
Dude, for
Learn how to
real.
cook.
Hey, but you know what? Can we just talk about how things like that are now super hard to get into? I mean, we talked about the Switch being sold out, but then
The
people are
Switch.
like
What do you
Nintendo
mean?
Switch.
a Nintendo
Oh,
Switch being sold out because everybody's at home, but then now everybody's buying jet skis and boats because that's where you can be. Like oh man, like it's all like where people were blowing money at the strip club. Now there's no strip club. Now they're just blowing money on a boat, or they're blowing
Or
money
OnlyFans.
or only yeah, dude, for real. It's like people don't know what to do with themselves. It's insane. It's insane.
OnlyFans. We should start one of those.
Yeah, for real.
Well,
Where we
how
do
does
a
that
podcast
work?
shirtless. We do a podcast shirtless.
Shirtless? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like strip poker.
exactly.
We could do something
We
like
have
that.
little debates, little arguments. Whoever loses has to take off
Oh
part
my
of the
god, you
clothes.
lost. Oh my god, guys. You know.
I lost again.
All right.
Oh,
So
no.
long. You're the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I got chills and multiply. Adrian knows back in the day I used to do a sick dance to that song, but my choreography days are in the past. I might bring it back. I might reinvent myself. Uh, on this conspiracy uh, little topic, do you really think like someone like Bill Gates would do this whole thing to get a vaccine going and control us through that vaccine? Like, do you think now the non-vaxxers like be like, you see, bro, I told you, bro, and then like it's always some guy that's like, bro, I didn't vaccinate my two kids, and the one that survived is totally fine. Like, that's normally what you hear from these people. Like,
I ran this experiment and it worked.
like, okay, we know Jimmy didn't make it, but Tashana, yes, I gave her that name. I wanted it to be a bit more diverse, and she made it, and she didn't get vaccinated. So, all right. But maybe now it's like, do you want to get vaccinated? Like, I kind of feel like I don't want to be the first one to get that vaccine.
No, I don't
No,
think
definitely. Not even my grandparents, 90 years old, they're like, nah, fuck that shit. We're not going to be the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
rightfully
think someone like Bill Gates, like, it's crazy to think that someone that you for your whole life thought as someone like that was super legit, like nice person, that now you hear things like that, maybe he's like an evil person too, and you're like, what the fuck? What's real? you know? Like, if Bill Gates is trying to fucking poison us, then like we're fucked. Like all all PCs are Windows, right? And then and Mac, and Steve Jobs is probably like frozen on some fucking island, watching this whole happen. To have his head connected to the new OS,
Right there
why is it
next to
that
Walt Disney.
Exactly.
why is it that Apple always has this like borderline hipster names for their operating systems, like Catalina 2017, like
Children.
Right. They're the names of children.
Mojave. Yeah, it's like, imagine like the conspiracy goes to like all Apple operating systems are the names of missing children.
I don't know about the whole Bill Gates thing. I mean, it is kind of a far-fetched thing, but I mean, I think there's something weird about um I think there's something weird about like foundations, because if you ever been to like a like a foundation or like a gala where like there's donations and it's like the upper echelon. I've never been to one, but I've like when I did events, I would see kind of what's hosted, and like everybody's a
We never
scumbag.
been to that shit.
No, but everybody's a scumbag at those. Like it's all just a networking event. There's not, in my opinion, I don't see that many positive that people there
Individual,
that I would feel like, damn, like that's a really good person, you
right?
know? But I mean, Bill Gates, for all intents and purposes, has been a decent person on camera,
On paper.
on paper. But I mean, so is the Clintons, right? So
I mean, not really on paper. More like, I mean, that paper has been stained.
yeah,
My
But
grandma
like,
has Hillary Clinton's book.
is it like a trash talking book on her, or
No, about her life.
about her life?
Yeah,
Okay.
autobiographical book.
Oh, have you read it?
No.
Okay.
No, but I should, just to see what she has to say about herself.
Yeah. I mean, that is probably going to be the best way to give a non-biased opinion. People say, "Oh, Trump's an asshole," but but then you look and it's like, oh, he did this, this, and this. Obama was a great person, but did you know that more people were deported under the Obama administration? So it's like it's like you gotta see both sides, and so I agree. Read the book. Let us know what happens because I ain't reading that shit.
Yeah.
No, but as
Let
far
us
as Bill
know
Gates being
and then burn it.
being behind the whole scheme, you mean the whole conspiracy is that he wants us to get the chip so that he can mind control us? That's what it is, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if he's gonna fix the bugs in Windows, I mean, I might be down to
we already know what he did with Windows Vista. Oh, the Windows, what was it, 8 or Vista? Yeah,
what to do.
it was trash.
Oh, it was trash. Yeah. No, but it's always like there's always bugs in Windows. But if we can fix that, and we all get the chip, and then we could say Mac, fuck you,
Yeah,
take your
sure.
Apple away, take your little MacBook Pros that are work seamlessly and shit, and let's just fucking get on. The same. What's it called? The ecosystem.
Yeah, the ecosystem. Yeah, but don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Microsoft is copying that whole shit too.
Okay.
Yeah, the Surface Pro, the Microsoft. Well, the Microsoft phones are gone, but they have Microsoft little IoT devices. So
I think Windows. The problem with them is they never give up on things. Like how many 25 years Windows Explorers have existed? Nobody's ever used it. They keep on like Windows 20. Sorry, like Windows Explorer 20. Like Internet Explorer. That's what I meant. My bad. It's like,
yeah,
oh yeah, it's the same fucking E, but it's bluer and it's like still shit, bro. Like, get me Google or Firefox. Like they should just quit it. Like,
Stop. I think they did with the phones, right?
they made an Edge. It's called Edge now. This year or last year. Also trash.
Well, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
They're trying to find a thing, but okay. And what would Bill Gates? I don't know, bro. Like,
what would be the end goal of it?
Yeah, like part of me is like, yeah, I get how people could be evil and all this, and then part of me is like, why the fuck would he? But I don't know. Maybe what you're saying is true, Steven. Like people that get reunited for this type of like events where they donate money, like they're all like fucking, dark human beings that have secrets and shit, and you end up involved, because you look at Tom Hanks, right? People say like, oh, he's involved in this shit and that. He also looks like a normal guy,
Yeah. I don't see him with like children. You know what I mean?
I really don't.
That's what he wants you to see.
Exactly.
I guess that's sort of that's the feeling you want to project, right? If you're that guy, you want people to be like, come on, this guy did Forrest Gump,
Yeah, he made a movie recently about the guy that was on PBS. Fuck. I want the red sweater.
Oh, Rogers.
Yeah.
But who did one?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Oh yeah. I actually kind of want to see it.
What is it about?
Phenomenal actor.
Well, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Rogers is like an old time TV show where he was just a nice guy in the neighborhood.
Okay, so he's doing like a bio movie.
Yeah. About being a nice guy. See, he's just building that image.
There it is, poisoning the well.
Yeah, I mean this guy.
Story, Mr. Rogers.
Right. It's
what better poster child to back up to hop onto, right? Everybody loves Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers.
Everybody loves Tom Hanks, right?
Well,
I mean, like, who doesn't like Tom Hanks, right? Like, I mean, unless you know about these things, which I'm kind of finding out now. But
yeah, lately, just because he's got a negative cred, right? I mean, he's like outwardly racist, or he was seen in a video like straight calling out like some black people. I don't know.
Real?
Yeah, so your Tom Hanks.
He's like super like lefty, right?
It says Tom Hanks refutes racist label after blackface video emerges.
What? I didn't see
what Tom Hanks? What?
Tom Hanks blackface.
Tom Hanks releases a rap diss record.
The home now describes nauseatingly racist by conservative blogger. Charity for his child's school, joking with the investment bankers James Montgomery, who is distressed in an afro wig and an animal print costume. So the man dresses up like a broke afro cheetah, and now he's getting called out for it.
He got dressed.
Yeah, because
cheetah.
Yeah, I don't actually reading the article. I'm thinking these people are fucking crazy.
Go to
Like
Google
Tom Hanks.
Images.
Oh God, here we go. Yeah.
What you guys Googled?
Tom Hanks blackface, and then put images on Google.
It is real.
It's just it's so weird. A massive afro, and yeah, he is blackface.
I mean, come on,
Ha-
man. What is this in the 80s? What the fuck is this?
Like, I don't
Tom
think he's
Hanks.
racist, but why the hell would he do this?
I
Oh, that's
mean,
the Jimmy Kimmel.
one thing that you do start seeing, which it's like, but he doesn't have it. It's someone else, right?
No, I'm seeing here's 10
Oh,
Picture
he's
definitions.
sharing. Yeah, yeah, you're right. He's sharing a stage with a man in blackface.
Okay. I mean, I'll tell you something. After you hear like all these people being canceled or trying to be canceled because of blackface, which I don't know. I guess I wouldn't know fully how this could offend somebody, but I don't see how it could be that alarming. But I don't really find the funny in it. But I find that so many people did it. It was like a thing, right? Like
But
20, 30 years ago.
some people do it in a very like artistic way. Like for instance, I don't really care for her, but like Kylie Jenner did like this really glistening makeup look, and she's obviously a darker tone, but that could be like photo editing. Like I wouldn't consider that blackface. You know what I'm saying? There's this girl
Nah,
with a terrible
that's
tan.
black body, dog. That's worse. That's a new.
Well,
That's a
Robert
new
Downey
new.
Jr. killed blackface in Tropic
Robert,
Thunder.
Yeah, if
exactly right.
like if you like, I think when you give that example, then it all falls. Like if it's funny and artistic, then it will show. If it isn't, if it's untasty, then it will show, right? Like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. You cannot say that's just race. That's just so fucking funny. He's so good.
Yeah,
But
that was
he
amazing.
even said himself he wouldn't be able to do that today. Well, the whole movie is fucking. You have Simple Jack,
You mama make me happy.
bro. He got shit for that. Like later, like you could have made that
Or
movie today, and
that
it's
movie
not
was
really
amazing.
like, yeah, and it's not really like anything that crazy. It's just that people now get outraged
By
by,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about being Michael Jordan at for Halloween at my company and doing blackface, and but
You really thought of that?
yeah, and then a second later I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get fired.
But I
Yeah.
think he's like an idol, right? And you aren't going about it in a distasteful fashion. You just want to be Michael Jordan, or you identify as fucking Michael Jordan. Who the fuck is going to tell you otherwise? And that's my point. I mean, if you're making fun of him, but if you're like legitimately like, I had this argument with somebody, and I'm like, all right, so it's not right to be dressed up as blackface, right? But is it right to be dressed up as, I don't know, a Viking who pillaged and raped and burned cities and children and mass slaughtered everything? Is it really?
Damn.
I mean, like that would be bad taste, right? That would be
We're
bad
not
taste to be
getting
a
any
Viking.
promoters from the Nordic countries.
No, I think they are going to promote us because those bastards are all Vikings. They all survived. They because they
Yeah.
are part of the Viking. Anyways, the point.
Yeah,
Is,
or like if you dress like Pocahontas, isn't that like offending in like I'm from South America, I have indigenous blood. I might be offended by that shit.
right, but I mean, but women will dress up like a slutty Pocahontas and nobody will say shit.
Yeah, but that is true though, right? Like doesn't it seem that if you don't bat an eye when someone dresses as a Mexican or whatever the fuck, right? But you do when they go blackface, then aren't you saying in a way that blacks are like like an inferior group?
Or a sensitive one.
Yeah, but like they need protection. Like isn't that like the condescending or patronizing?
Even
I'm trying to
racist.
find words that I learned on my English course.
Even racist, even or discriminatory.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and it sounds harsh to say because it's sort of contrary to like not common sense, but like what most people would go for. But it's like it's sort of like this. If you have a friend in a group and everybody makes fun of each other, but there's a friend that you don't make fun of. If I was that guy, I'm like, yo, is there something wrong with me that you don't make fun of me too? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude, you're black.
and that's why we never go blackface, bro.
No, I mean you're right, man, and I think really it's just you're making a whole lot of stink about nothing when at the end of the day it's more divisive than it is like
if
just welcoming.
if someone wears like blackface and they want to be offensive, you will clearly see it, right? And if someone wants to be funny, then you will clearly see it. And even if they're trying to be funny but they don't make it funny, then they're still gonna get shit about it. So at the end, it's like it's fair, right?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it it shouldn't really matter because at the end of the day, like what happens when it comes down to comedians like doing an impression or doing something. It's like you're doing it because you want to highlight the stereotype of it, right? Because it's funny, like when a Latin mom throws a chancleta at you, that's not a Nordic mother throwing a chancleta at you. That's a Spanish mother, and that's very typical for that.
Nordic, it will be an axe.
An axe, exactly, and that's funny, and that's fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't see why we can't. I mean, am I just supposed to have a non-funny life?
Like I don't get butt hurt about like jokes about the Latin community, like, and yeah, you see a Latino come in, and then there's 30 people in the same car, you know, like, like if it's funny, then it's funny, you know, like,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck, man. Like, I don't know. I think people just don't know how to have fun. Like, just have fun with it. Like, you know how when someone wants to be offensive, you can tell.
yeah.
So if it's not that, then have fun with it.
Right.
Otherwise, if you want to be a protected group, then you're doing a disservice to the whole movement of actually trying to.
Do you feel like it's because nothing has ever really been given to the black community? Because like Native Americans have gotten their casinos and they get, you know, they have their own little community and stuff. But after slavery, we're just like, all right, well, that's it. It's over. Free to go. Let's not talk about it. It's in our past. So maybe they still feel like slighted by that and they want to hold on to it.
So just give them a casino and be good with it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just being, but you realize like the Indians were here prior. I'm not you, but like for those who subscribe to
a bunch of Wingstops.
Yeah, like they have they got their own they have their own land, and they created their wealth on that land. We didn't say make a casino. They made a casino.
That's true, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right? We didn't give them casinos.
We just gave them the land. Operate them.
Yeah, but and rightfully so, because it's their land and it's whatever. I don't know how they're taxing it, but regardless, what I'm saying is that if it came down to that, like, I mean, that was like they were here first and we ripped the land from them, you know, with these slaves or with blacks that were slaves.
It is hard to put it in like a competition of
it's not really,
you know, but it is. But yeah, it's different. But I guess. Yeah, it's a different story with the indigenous people. Nobody really talks about that shit. But then you also have other groups like the Japanese were fucking putting camps. But I guess you could argue that wasn't for that many years. But you know, the Asians don't complain,
right?
You know, and they do well. So, I don't know. I think in general, America is a very good place to live today. And in general, I don't see why these jokes, at least. I'm not talking about in depth. Like we could have a long conversation on you know how some people might not have benefited from certain things across the history of the U.S. But when it comes to jokes, like are we not far enough in society to like? You know, like it seems like we're going backwards in the sense on some things, you know, like I understand we don't want to, like if you watch a movie from the 50s, you see some shit like, damn, like, you know, like there's some shit that you're like, fuck. But so I understand, okay, we don't want the same sort of depiction of women and all these things, but do we want to like completely eliminate any room for comedy and nuance?
Expression.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
coming
I
into
think
hate speech. Already
right.
tabled that. So where do you draw the line? Eventually, you're just not allowed to speak anymore, and your freedom of speech is gonna go. It's gonna go.
Yeah. And honestly, like it's gonna get to a point, and it kind of already is down to a point where people are like, well, I have material to go there and maybe not be offensive, but in the off chance that it is, I'm ruined. So I'm not gonna go there. You know?
Yeah, that's a responsibility of the comedian too. Like, when Louis C.K. comes out with a special, like he knows that offensive shit is gonna kill, because otherwise he's gonna get killed. You know what I mean? Like, you hold that responsibility as well. So just as I'm defending that you can joke about everything, I'm also defending that if the guy isn't funny and he's just being a piece of shit, then he can be held to the court of public opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a fine line to walk. You gotta teeter it carefully.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Louis C.K. fucking sort of
He's a G.
deletes that line and then draws it again. He's a fucking beast. But well, I mean, I think that's been a great talk, guys. I don't know if we made any sense. I hope people didn't get bored and found it interesting. But
Or offended. Or
or,
I
well,
know
Right.
that
some
I
jokes
think we're
made, but
not gonna be able to avoid.
Now on my what is this almost 30th episode? I'm just I gotta realize that, at the end of the day, like we're nice people. We don't do anybody harm, and we can get off our chest what we gotta get off our chest. It's really an opinion based podcast, and we got people telling us about things that we didn't even know about, like the chef guy. Like
Yeah.
that's I without maybe touching a soft spot, we wouldn't have never gotten there. So it's okay. I think what I'm trying to promote is it's okay to talk about stuff.
And
I
it's
think
okay
it's
to
just,
be wrong.
yeah, it's okay to be wrong for sure.
I
you
mean,
guys have
as
30
long as you're
episodes.
good.
Say what?
You guys have
Kind
30
of
episodes out.
Yeah.
Oh man,
just about right. I don't know at
yeah!
this stage
Congratulations.
which one we're in, but we're about 30 episodes in,
30 deep.
30 deep. So, but yeah, any last words, Adrian, before the world ends?
Tell my mama I love her.
Mama, I made it. Nah, man. I'm just glad to be a part of this conversation. I'm glad that people are talking about these sort of things and pushing the line, and just being honest, because you can't talk about this sort of stuff in the workplace for fear of if not getting fired, or at least alienated. So it's
Yeah,
pretty great that you have these sort of opportunities.
yeah, yeah. We're having a recent talk. It's like a pep talk on my job, and the title of it is called "I'm not racist, but,"
Hmm.
and this is not a joke at all. Like, this is
Oh
real.
god.
Like and I can already see is like them touching subjects of like, if your coworker said this, and so it's like, I don't know what it's gonna be, but yeah, man, we gotta keep a free portal for people to talk, and you're gonna see me and Stevski, as he's known in the Eastern European blog, that we could change our minds at any moment if we see that the facts support it. We're still
Mhm.
little sponges, very young lads, absorbing the information of the world. So yeah, sometimes we might be a bit cavalier in the way that we express things, but we're just trying to have fun. Always coming from the good side, always coming from a diverse heart, uh, and yeah. Any last words, Stevie, before the world ends? Because it's getting.
uh, well, support local business, USA all day, and thanks for stopping by the Broskiedoodle podcast. We appreciate your listening ears, and thank you to Adrian especially for stopping by. We really did enjoy having you.
Had a great time.
We appreciate it, and we're glad that we have some place to crash on one of those bunk beds if we ever end up a little too drunk.
Yeah. We can have this lumber party. Well, guys, take care. Hope you like this long format today. Have a good weekend, whatever day it is. If the world ended, then I guess this shit will be posted in the databases of the universe.
Shop
Peace.
Wayfair.
Shop
Freakish
Wayfair.
Lane.